Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning, 22nd of December 2023. Mark's been reading through this little booklet called The Manner of the Kingdom by Cleve Brantley. He's ready for the top of page 10, and he's going to read down through the middle of page 12 today. Manner of the Kingdom, page 10 through 12. But they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. All human government is rejection of God. It is presumptuous or usurpation of the authority and power to rule as God's alone. Nor does it make any difference what form government may take. It is alike rejection of God. We talk of godless communism as though it were the only godless form of government. Let us not dare to face the truth that democracy, that monarchy, and all other forms of human government are equally as godless. No government of men can be established without rejecting God. In order for such government to be formed, men must assume authority and power they do not possess. They must assume divine authority, for there is and can be no other. But God shares his throne with none. Therefore, there is no authority for human government. They are all unjust in their inception and must remain forever so, for it is written, "He that is unjust, let him be unjust still." Revelation 22:11. Justice is absolute. There is no such thing as partial justice or justice in degree. What is not just is unjust. What is not wholly right is entirely right or entirely wrong. What is not completely true is totally false. Nothing is partly right and partly wrong, or partly true and partly false. This is the basic fallacy of human reasoning. We reason that things are good, better, best, or bad, worst, worst. With us, everything is comparative, judged by the moral righteousness of God's law. This is absolutely false. Morally, what is not best is not even good, and what is less than perfect is evil. The philosophy of men on this point was expressed by Samson when he burned the Philistines' wheat in retaliation for his wife being given to another by her father. Samson said on that occasion, "Thou shalt be more blameless than the Philistines, so I do them a displeasure." Judges 15:3. Note the expression "more blameless" in his estimation. What he did to the Philistines was not as bad as what they did to him. Yet he knew what he did as well as what the Philistines did was wrong. He knew that blame attached to both actions. The reasoning inversely, as men always do, he made it a matter of degree and comparison. He justified himself by their wrong. He called what he did to them displeasure, thus admitting no blame or guilt at all. So it is still. Men like themselves in heaven, supposing they are justified in wrongdoing because others do wrong. Man has comparative justice and comparative rightness only. The only possible way individual, government, or society can establish their own justice or righteousness is through the justice and righteousness of others. It goes without saying that such justice is injustice and such righteousness is unrighteousness. Yet this is the only righteousness any man has. We are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. Isaiah 64:6. Righteousness, our so-called righteous acts, filthy rags, is elsewhere rendered menstruous cloth. Let this enlighten whom it may. Because men are unrighteous, their government is unrighteous. It is impossible for just men to establish a just government. Comparative morality is no substitute for holiness. It is, in fact, nothing more than filthy rags designed to cover the cleanness of the corrupt and capricious soul. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness. Proverbs 30:12. The fact of man's depravity is today either disbelieved or ignored by all but a relative few. Very few will even consider the possibility of themselves being wrong, much less acknowledge the fact. Most people think highly of themselves, even if they do not of others, and they do so in proportion as they do not understand either human nature or truth. It is not possible for the man who recognizes truth to think highly of himself, the proud are ever destitute of truth. Most of us confuse fact with truth, but there is an infinite difference between the two. Fact is the thing done, whether good or evil. Facts may be lies and have no relation to truth. Facts never determine truth. Truth determines facts. We cannot discover truth from facts, for we must know the truth before we can understand the facts. Samuel saw the fact. God saw the truth. What was the fact? Israel chose a king and a human government. What was their excuse and explanation for doing so? That we may be like all the nations. That was the fact, the excuse and the explanation. What was the truth? Israel rejected God, and that was the reason for their choice of a human government. It is still the reason for man's choice of a human government, whatever the facts or incidents may appear to be. Rejection of God is the truth behind the fact of human government, and the only reason for its existence. This truth does determine the fact, and never does fact determine truth, as is commonly supposed. Truth underlines everything. Truth is the great citadel of life, where neither fact nor fancy ever entered, or even as an occasional visitor. Truth dwells alone in the infinity and solitude of eternity. Men can do nothing against the truth. They may alter facts, but they cannot change truths. Like Corinthians 13:8.
Well, you don't hear very much teaching like that anymore. There's no such thing as a perfect government, not in this world. The only perfect government is a government of God, His eternal kingdom. May the good Lord be with you today. God bless.